I'm known as Shabi from Coconut Heaven blog, and I would like to thank Farhang Foundation for giving me the opportunity to share a stew that is coming from my heart. The recipe is called Quince Pomegranate Love. Pomegranate stew represents the love of my father and my mom. My mom, she loved quince, and my father was in love with pomegranate, and they also loved each other so much. Even though my father passed away early in his 40th, my mom always stayed in love with him and never replaced. She always tells me I can never replace the love that I have for your father with any other man. To me, their love was eternal, and I hope you give this recipe a try and you can find the eternal love in your life. Ingredients that we need to make this stew is a stew beef, pomegranate seeds, so I'm using 1 whole pomegranate. We need quince. We need onion, and because my onion was too big, I'm using half an onion. I'm using grape tomatoes. I'm using walnuts, tomato paste, pomegranate molasses or pomegranate paste. For the spices, I'm using 7 spice, black pepper, turmeric, salt, and a touch of cinnamon. Also, we need 2 teaspoons of sugar. First step in making any type of Persian stew or Iranian stew is to dice the onion. And onion is one of the essential ingredients that makes your stew super flavorful and tasty. So after we dice the onion, I'm gonna set it aside, and then I'm gonna start cutting my quince. So the way that I like to cut my quince is to get rid of the top and this side first. And I'm gonna cut it in half. And you need a good sharp knife to do this. And then this part of quince, don't throw it out. It's the seeds are very good when you have a cold and you're coughing. So I usually save this part, dry it, and then add it to hot water or tea to soothe my throat during the winter time. Now when you're cutting your quince, it's up to you how big or small. I like to do it kind of a cube shape, and I try to do a bigger sizes because I like to see it in my stew. If you like, you can make it smaller slices than what I did. To start making any stew, we should always start with our onion. So we are gonna saute our onion using oil, and I like to add a small piece of butter too, just to make it more flavorful. But this is your choice, you don't have to. And it starts to change color. I like to add my beef, and I like to cut it bigger pieces, not too small. So This is a beef stew. And the flavor of the butter already started to kick in. Once I notice the color of the meat is changing and my onion is starting to caramelize, I like to bring the temperature a little bit lower so our onion doesn't burn. And I like to add my spices. Now I'm not gonna add my salt, but I'm gonna add all the rest of the spices. Turmeric, 7 spice, black pepper, a touch of cinnamon powder, and I'm gonna leave my salt at the end. Now I can add my quince, and mix. If you feel you need to add a little bit more of oil or butter, you can do that at this stage, but I can see I have enough of oil and butter. And then now I'm gonna add my walnut. And for walnut, I didn't grind it or cut it in smaller pieces. I like to use it this size. I need to add a little bit of oil at this stage. Now it's time to add the pomegranate seeds. So I'm gonna use half of it and leave half for garnishing. So remember to save some. Now mix your tomato paste and molasses, pomegranate molasses, together before adding, or you can add it separately. So I'm gonna start with my molasses first. Add some water. Now I'm gonna add the tomato paste. And I like to slightly saute my tomato paste in oil too before adding more water. Okay. Now I'm going to add some water to cover. I had still some molasses left, pomegranate molasses here left, so I'm using this to add my water. And you need to add enough water to kind of cover all your ingredients. And because it takes time for the beef to cook, you want to make sure you have enough water at the beginning so you don't have to add later. Because now this is the time that the magical flavors are going to start to work. And if you add water later, you're kind of getting rid of that magical flavor. So I'm going to kind of add enough water to cover my ingredients. And then I'm going to cover this and leave it to cook for 1 hour. Five minutes passed and I'm checking to see if my meat is almost cooked, so I can use a knife, and if I can poke with the knife easily, that means our meat is almost cooked. So I'm gonna add my salt now, and I'm gonna add my stir, and this is exactly the amount of water that I want this stew to have, because you don't want your stew to be too watery. So I add my grape tomatoes, and I also add 2 teaspoons of sugar, because we use pomegranate molasses, and we also use pomegranate seeds. This is just to make it kind of like sour sweet and not too sour. So I'm gonna cover this again and cook it for between I would say 30 to 45 minutes more, but we can always check again to see if it's ready. It's ready now to be served. And also I made rice, so I'm gonna move to the other table to start plating. Start with the rice. I made basmati rice with my popular golden tahdig, which is with saffron. So I'm gonna do the flip right in front of you. Rice, and I'm gonna start serving my stew. And I will show you how gorgeous it smells heavenly. So this is extremely tasty and colorful, and I don't blame my mom and my dad for loving these two foods so much. And Quince is already magical enough, and adding pomegranate, it's the cherry on top. So I'm gonna garnish my stew with some pomegranate seeds to finish it off. Thank you for watching this video, and I would like to thank Farhang Foundation again for allowing me to share a dear recipe of mine on this page. I hope you give this recipe a try, and if you make it, let me know if you fall in love. I also have other recipes on my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and I have a blog too. Thank you, and have an awesome day.